Major breaking news. Ghana government has just done the unthinkable. They've gone ahead and accepted 40 more criminals from the United States. Earlier on, they had accepted 14 of them, 13 from Nigeria and 1 from Gambia. And now they've just accepted 40 of them. But here's the twist that most of you don't understand about President John Mahama. He is trying to play humanity. Earlier on, when President Donald J. Trump started the deportation of these particular criminals, he went ahead and even called most of the African leaders to accept the criminals. They went ahead and said, no, we don't want those criminals to our nations. But there's one president who actually accepted, the president of El Salvador, whereby he went ahead and said, I will accept them, imprison them, then they will be deported back to their nations after serving their sentence, but they will be under the control of the United States. But President John Mahama went ahead and said, no, I will stand up for the West African nations criminal, whereby he knew very well if these particular criminals will be accepted directly from the United States, direct to their nation, they have to pass through El Salvador, the sea salt prison, which is known to be one of the harshest prisons on earth. So when they will be deported from the United States to Ghana, they will not be judged. They will escape El Salvador imprisonment, whereby he knew very well if these particular criminals will pass through there, they will go through a hard time. So he just accepted them for them to be deported directly from Ghana to their various nations, maybe Nigeria, Kenya, Sudan, and other nations. But if they will be accepted directly, maybe from United States to maybe Nigeria, they have to pass through the El Salvador and face their imprisonment first. So this is what President John Mahama is trying to make these West African criminals escape, nothing else.
Welcome to Afriplus News Channel. Today's development raises one of the most pressing and controversial questions of our time. Ghana have just accepted 40 new illegal migrants from the United States. Just earlier in September 2025, the country had already accepted 14, mostly Nigerians and Gambians. And now, as of the 24th of September, another batch has arrived. What does this mean for African sovereignty? What message does it send about the balance of power between America and Africa? Before we break this down in depth, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more important and relevant updates like this one. When a sovereign African nation like Ghana accepts illegal migrants deported from the United States, it exposes the deep imbalance of power in global politics.
Let's be clear. We didn't agree to this because we agree with President Trump's immigration policies. We are not doing the U.S. a favor. Okay. We are doing our fellow Africans a favor. We are offering them refuge. We are offering them succor. We are offering them hope. We want them to come back home and be comfortable. We solidarize with them when we see those images, the arrests, the violation of their rights, being detained against their will, and it's as though nobody wants to take them. So it was purely on humanitarian basis, and we have made clear that we did not accept any financial benefit whatsoever. We are doing this because we want to continue to position Ghana as that country which has always been the Mecca for Africans, for freedom fighters. We will avail ourselves to help fellow Africans in distress.
So pardon my ignorance.
So it is not about
if you are 14.
America has the power to designate who belongs and who does not, yet it dictates to Africa where its rejected people should be sent. Shouldn't sovereignty mean the right to decide independently who enters or exits your borders? Or is African sovereignty becoming a mere word without substance?
11 West African nationals have taken legal action against the government of Ghana. What's their crime or our crime? Challenging their transfer from the United States under the controversial arrangement. Now, the applicants, who are Nigerian, Togolese, Gambian, and Malian nationals, say they were secretly removed from the United States detention centers earlier this month, despite having previously secured protection against deportation from American immigration courts. Now, they claim they only discovered later that Ghana was their unexpected destination. They didn't know about this. That's why they say it was a secret deportation. They didn't know that they were being brought to Ghana. But then again, what does the law say? Because since their arrival on September 6th, they say they have been kept in military facilities, denied proper access to family members, and held for more than 48 hours without any court order. The suits filed before Ghanaian courts include a habeas corpus action questioning the lawfulness of their detention, a human rights case alleging violations of their liberty and administrative justice, and an injunction seeking to stop any attempt to send them back to their countries of origin. Now, let's get a bit more into this, because this is one that our legal affairs correspondent Joseph Akablea has been following quite closely as how this transpired right from the United States to what's happening here in Ghana. He's joining us right now. Joseph, it's good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. What more do we know about this particular case and the challenge that these deportees are bringing up against the government of Ghana?
Well, the first update we can bring to our viewers is the fact that two of the cases that you made reference to are due to be heard in court tomorrow. The first being the habeas corpus application, which is simply challenging the basis for their imprisonment, asking that whoever is holding them shows up in court and explains why they are being detained, for the court to determine whether that detention should be allowed to remain or the court should issue other orders for their release. Then the second application is the one for the injunction that you also made reference to, which would also is supposed to be heard tomorrow, asking that the Republic of Ghana is restrained from having them removed from Ghana. We have seen and verified videos from persons who are close to these individuals, video showing one person speaking on their behalf, in which they say that as at the 15th of September, that is just 2 days ago, they were still in the jurisdiction. You recall last week, the president had said that the first batch had been sent out of the country. What is not clear is whether this is another batch beyond the batch the president had referred to, because they say that media reports suggesting they arrived in Ghana and they had been sent out of Ghana are false and that they are still within their jurisdiction. The main point to make is that they have been granted some respite by the courts in the United States of America that prevented their removal from that country, and they were not therefore supposed to be moved from the United States in the first place, only to be told mid-flight that they were heading to Ghana. And they say that on arrival in Ghana, without any court order or anything, they are being kept beyond the mandatory requirements of 48 hours, or beyond that, you get a court order to extend that warrant. And so that is what they are saying, that as far as they are concerned, they believe their rights have been breached, for which reason they are seeking the intervention of our courts.
And they say they are being kept at military facilities?
Yes.
From what you do know?
Yes, that's the claim they make. They say that they are being held in various military facilities, and that there are intermittent access that is granted to family members and sometimes to the lawyers. So it's not access that they are satisfied with. And they believe that all those matters amount to a breach of their rights. And as far as they are concerned, they believe that the courts ought to intervene and order their release.
And Joseph, hold on a bit for me. Let's hear from the president. Exactly a week ago, when he first spoke about this entire arrangement and these deportees coming into Ghana.
What does this reveal about the relationship between African governments and global powers? The reality becomes even more troubling when we consider that these migrants are not even Americans by birth, but mostly Africans who had attempted to live and work in the United States. If America finds them undesirable, why must Africa simply accept them back without conditions? Can African nations not also exercise the right to reject and deport those they see as illegal within their borders back to America? Or does sovereignty only flow one way, from Washington to Africa, never the reverse? This raises another painful question. Can any African country send its own illegal migrants to the United States? The answer is a resounding no. America would never accept them, let alone take them into its communities. Yet Africa is expected to open its arms not because of choice, but because of pressure. How long will Africa continue to play by a set of rules that only serve others? How long will sovereignty be compromised in the name of international relations? At the same time, America has not hesitated to issue visa bans on several African countries, restricting travel, punishing governments, and often humiliating citizens in the process. And yet, despite these bans, America still expects Africa to take back people it deems unfit to remain within its borders. Does this not sound like double standards at the highest level? Shouldn't the principle of reciprocity apply? If America can ban Africans from entering, why can't African countries ban America's rejected migrants from being sent back? What we are witnessing is a troubling pattern where Africa is being used as a dumping ground for America's unwanted. When America deports migrants to Africa, it is not just deporting individuals, it is symbolically reminding the world that Africa can be treated as a waste bin for global refuse. Is this the destiny of Africa in the 21st century? Is this the value of African lives in the eyes of global powers? Or is this another form of neo-colonial control dressed in diplomatic language? The question then becomes, what will Ghana and other African governments do? Will they continue to quietly accept these deportations, or will they take a bold stand and assert the true meaning of sovereignty? Is it possible for Africa to push back, to demand equal respect, to insist on fair and reciprocal treatment in international relations? Or are African leaders too dependent on Western aid, trade deals, and diplomatic ties to risk taking such a stand? This is where the discussion becomes emotional. Every African must ask, what is sovereignty worth if it cannot be defended? Can a nation truly claim independence when it cannot decide who stays and who goes? And most importantly, how long will Africans remain silent when the continent is treated as a global afterthought? The conclusion is as troubling as it is thought-provoking. America's deportations to Ghana highlight a deeper imbalance, an imbalance of respect, of power, and of sovereignty. It is not just about the 40 migrants or the 14 before them. It is about the larger question of whether Africa will continue to be treated as a subordinate in global affairs. The people of Africa must reflect, comment, and demand accountability. Because sovereignty without action is no sovereignty at all. We want to hear your thoughts. Do you think Ghana should continue to accept these migrants from the United States? Or should Ghana and other African countries take a stand and refuse to be treated as dumping grounds for America's unwanted? Drop your opinions respectfully in the comment section below. Let us build a space where Africans can debate and engage with these issues constructively. If you find value in this analysis, consider supporting our work by joining our channel membership or sending us a super thanks. Your support allows us to keep producing these important discussions that mainstream media often ignores. Disclaimer: this video is based on publicly available reports and is intended for educational and analytical purposes only. Afriplus News Channel does not endorse hate speech, discrimination, or misinformation. Viewers are encouraged to verify facts independently and to share their perspectives respectfully, in line with YouTube's community guidelines.